I remember standing on the front porch of the dilapidated house I was living in when I first started mulling over the idea of a podcast that would become Searching for Ghosts. The house had a front porch view of this huge diseased tree that was practically leaning horizontally, thanks to a couple of storms that rolled through Madison County a few years earlier. Bit by bit, the tree would lean just a little more, seemingly begging for someone, anyone, to notice. The once majestic tree did indeed finally catch my attention, now that it was threatening to come crashing through the old house to put both of them out of their misery. That front porch view would later become the cover art for the first season of Searching for Ghosts, The Disappearance of Casey Lynn McDaniel. The photograph, simply shot with my iPhone, seemed to encapsulate Casey's case. Ominous looking, yet yearning for someone to notice. Yep, that was Casey's story in a nutshell. I think I was making $8,000 a year when I started SFG. I remember recording episodes from the side of my bed in the only heated room in that old house. I would run the space heaters at full blast, getting the room almost too hot, so that I could turn them off long enough to record my monologue in a somewhat quiet environment. Calling it a studio, however, would be short of telling the truth. I had to park at a McDonald's and use their Wi-Fi to upload each episode because I barely had electricity at the house, let alone internet. But somehow I made it happen. We made it happen. Looking back at what has transpired since 2017 can only be described as a miracle. We achieved national attention for both Casey McDaniel and Bethany Markowski, with an indictment for Casey's murder. And she might even get justice. We all did this. But I had no plans for a season 3, at least not in the foreseeable future. You see, I was warned by the powers that be that even though I had started this ball rolling, I could also be the one to mess everything up. I was basically told to stay in my lane. And I took it to heart, maybe too much so. It made me second guess publishing anything else. So I barely did. I disappeared. I focused on picking up the pieces of my own life. I found a studio loft, and in 2020 I saved every nickel to build a little home studio, piece by piece. I worked on music, started doing voiceover work, and began producing and editing other people's podcasts. But one night, earlier this year, I received a message on Facebook. I don't get them like I used to. And the ones I do get usually have something to do with how the podcast and law enforcement got it all wrong with Casey's case. And the person that messaged me knows who did it. You know, that sort of thing. But this message was different. And I don't think I even responded to it. But it got me to thinking. This message has led me down the path of another case, Pete Hill, and a series of murders spanning multiple states. It's time for a third season. It's time for Searching for Ghosts to once again be the voice of the voiceless. Pete Hill has a trial date for November and I need to be there. And there's unfinished business with Bethany Markowski's case. Go to patreon.com/searchingforghosts and become a $5, $10, or $20 member and get early access to the case reveal, access to episodes before the general public, bonus interviews and episodes from all 3 seasons, and behind-the-scenes making-of videos. Let's do this.